Hey guys, welcome back to the Jace Love Strength channel. Just this weekend, we did a live stream watch along with the World Tour final, and in that, wished you had joined us if you didn't. Just a little quick recap of what happened. So before this event this weekend, Giants Live, we have like what we consider the Grand Slam now. A lot of people are calling it the Grand Slam, the four major events of the year in the strongman community. We've got the World's Strongest Man, Arnold Classic, Strongest Man on Earth, formerly the Shaw Classic, and the Rogue Invitational. Uh, so that's the big, major four shows of Strongman. Then you have Giants Live, the Strongman Classic Tour, all these different things. Giants Live themselves, they have what are considered like four major events in the Giants Live tour, and so up until this year, no one had ever managed to win more than two of four in the same year. 2024, that had changed because Mitchell Hooper had won the first three Giants Live major events of the year. So he was 3 for 3. Going into this weekend, he had a chance to basically complete the sweep. And, spoiler alert, if you didn't watch, you don't know anything yet, he did that. He went 4 for 4. Not only did he sweep the Giants Live, but he might have actually been able to sweep the points at the World Tour Final if he had chosen to do it, and that is because um, there were 5 events. It was a one-day show. He won the first event. He won the second event. He won the third event. He won the fourth event. So, out of all points possible, he had a perfect score going into the fifth and final event. And so he did elect not to do the event. Obviously, he didn't need to. And so he let everyone else go, and he just kind of became a cheerleader for the final event. He's been in that enviable position numerous times over the last year, where he hasn't needed to do the last event, or he just needs to go out there and do the bare minimum to claim his first place trophy, and this contest was no different. But he recently had said that even if he has a competition clinched, he's going to start attacking those final events anyway, because there will be a day in the future where he knows that competition is going to be a lot tighter. And if he doesn't win the final event, then he doesn't win the competition, and he wants to be prepared for battle on that day. So when the fifth event kicked off and he had said that he wasn't going to do it, I did start wondering, hey, why aren't we doing that? And so Mitchell actually had a live stream today where he talked to his fans, and I asked that very question. So we're going to watch his answer, and then I will give you my commentary as to my response to what he had to say once we're finished watching it. So here we go.
Jace loves strength. Um, Here's a good question. All right. You recently said even if you have a comp win clinched going into the final event, you're going to start attacking them anyway in preparation for the day that you need to. What changed this weekend? That's a good question. And I think I always feel that way. I always want to push to the limit. I always want to keep going. Um, and what changed this weekend? A couple of things. First of all, I don't have Atlas Stone Series this year again. It's different at Rogue. It's over the hitching post without tacky. It's not going to translate all that much. So that was sort of pointless. I'm going to build a stone platform with different heights before next year. So I'm going to practice it a lot. And it went from I want to practice it at Giants to I want to practice it regularly at home and surprise the hell out of people on the day that I do have to do a fast stone run and be one of the best in the world at that as well. What also changed this weekend was that if I did the stones or I made some sort of nominal effort on the stones, it would have made the competition worse. And because Chris Beetham would have had to go by himself, and it's you never like doing an event by yourself. It's never fun. If you can go head to head, that's always more fun. And second, Trey and Luke Richardson could go head to head for second and third, which made the show more exciting as well. So it was better for the show. I didn't need to do anything in the process of slathering on tacky, trying to get it off in a hurry before the podium, getting it on people during meet and greets, getting it on your equipment and your bag and all over. To not have to do any of that and know that I have about 8 months to prepare for my next stone run means that I was fine with just leaving it. But I mean, totally valid question for sure.
All right, guys. So we just heard from Mitchell Hooper why he did not do the Stone Run to end the World Tour final. Now it's time for me to pontificate on what he just said. So here we go. I guess, first of all, I got nothing against Mitchell Hooper at all. I'm a major, major fan. I give him money every month to follow his channel. I paid for numerous super chats, and I don't usually give a single cent to anyone for a super chat. Now, I have given a few to the strongman people because I like to support our community, and you guys know I can't get enough of this sport. But it's rare for me to do those things. So, any criticism that anyone here is watching this and think, oh, he's a Mitch hater, you couldn't be further from the truth. So I just speak honestly, and so here's what I'm going to say about that. First of all, before I get into any type of criticism or praise, either one, I want to lay something out and say that I acknowledge, first of all, the fact that he had the right to make that choice. I mean, he came in and dominated, won the first event, won the second event, won the third event, won the fourth event. So even if I doubt any of his fellow competitors, his fellow athletes who were there with him, I doubt any of them were offended that he chose not to do the fifth and final event. But if there were any of them offended by it, I would simply say this to them. Again, I'll be honest, I don't like that he didn't do the fifth event. I wished he would have. I know in the previous video he said he was going to start doing those. I wanted to see him get it on. And I wanted to see if he could take a clean sweep of all 5 events. I wanted to see if he could go 5 for 5 and have max total points possible. That's never happened before. I think it would have been awesome. But in any event, for any of his fellow combatants who decided they didn't like that, I would say, okay, well, do something about it. Beat him in one of the other events. Start beating him so that he doesn't have the ability to say, hey, I'm not going to do the event. If you guys don't want him doing that, if you want to see him out there fighting till the bitter end, then you're going to have to challenge him more in the lead up to the last event. So that's what I would say going there. Now, I already told you about how I wished he had competed in that event. So it kind of tells you where I'm going to go. But I'll also respond to what he said. As far as making the event better, part of that I can say okay, and part of it I can say, I don't know. As far as the Beetham goes, having to go alone, I understand that. That's nice. If that's authentic, a reason that went into his thinking about I'm going to do it, and I have no business or no reason to question him or to insinuate that that's not true or not sincere, then that's nice of him. But I would also say that's not his responsibility to make his competitors make the events more fun or make them be able to have a more competitive spirit to go out there to see someone across from them. It's make a race rather than just have to go out there and race themselves for time. I get exactly what he's saying. 100% I get it. But I also think that's not his responsibility to do that. Similarly, into the second and third place for Trey Mitchell and Luke Richardson, then what I would say there is, again, still not his place. Although I would agree with him that did make for a more exciting finish to the event than it would have been if he had been in there. Because if it had been versus, if he had chosen to do it, then it would have been, the final round would have not been Trey and Luke. It would have been Luke and Mitch. And so Trey would have been racing someone that he didn't really need to beat. And he needed to set up a good time to make sure that Luke couldn't defeat him. And maybe he could have done that. Maybe it would have changed his time. Maybe it would have changed his approach. There's a lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda, what ifs that didn't happen there. But we did get to see Trey and Luke go head-to-head, which was kind of cool, especially because that was the final round was so closely contested. Luke had a lead, Trey had a lead, Luke had a lead, Trey had a lead. It was battle to the nitty gritty, and at the end it was super super close too. And basically, yeah, whoever won that event was going to finish second place. It was almost like fighting for your position to win, even though you weren't winning because Mitch had already won. So they were trying to see who was going to take silver and who was going to get bronze, and it was super exciting. And we would not have gotten to see that one-on-one battle like that if Hooper had competed. So the Moose is definitely right about that. That did make for a more exciting finish. As far as not having the tacky on himself and having to worry about it getting on um, commentators and broadcasters when they interview him and reporters and stuff like that. Sort of similar to what I'd say about Beecham. It's not his responsibility to have to worry about that. Now, for him, yeah, he didn't have to worry about getting cleaned up or getting all that stuff off of him or getting off his equipment and luggages that he talked about. So I get the convenience, and again, he earned the right to make that decision. But I'll be honest. If I'm there, and I know a lot of you guys want me to go to these events, you've told me, hey, you should actually call these events and get paid for it. You know this sport top to bottom better than most people, and you're incredibly passionate about it. If any of them call, I'll probably take that call and I'll go. But I love this sport so much, I have to say, Moose, if you're ever worried about getting tacky on me, and you don't want me to have to get nasty and messy and worry about me having to get cleaned up because I'm interviewing you and you're smothered in the stuff, I say, don't worry about me. It would be a badge of honor to be smothered in your sweat and the tacky, and if you're deadlifting and the ankles get split up and the shins are toast, I don't mind if there's a little blood on me anyway. I get pretty nasty and grimy at the gym myself every day, so it wouldn't bother me, and I actually think it would be a cool story to say, like, oh look, this is when Mitch Hooper hugged me, and now our shirts were stuck together. We had to pry ourselves apart. It'd be a cool little story. So, anyway, he seemed candid. I appreciated him answering the question. I thought it was an important question, and I wanted to let you guys see the results of it. He also says that he's going to get himself a set of stones. He's going to work on that, and he's going to surprise people next year. Thus far, everything he has said he's going to do, except for do the last event even when he doesn't need to, he has made good on. And so when he says he's going to get really dang good at those and come back and surprise the heck out of people next year, I suspect he's probably going to get really darn good at those and come back and surprise the heck out of us next year. So let's watch in 2025 and see how good he gets at stones in the meantime. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Later.